Port. But first final, first of 8, first of 2 for the Junior Max drivers. The grid is as follows. It's Mike van Vugt and Poland's Olli Pilka on the front row. Marcel Somach and Vilgod Edquist on row 2. Jerzy Schminkowicz and Danny van Dijk on row 3. Jeff Machiels and Charlie Wirtz, who's running this weekend here in Adria, whilst the rest of the Wirtz family are all over the place. One in Seven Lagi, the other one is, the father is over at Le Mans with Toyota at the minute, and the other one is over in Austria at the Rallycross Championship for that particular nation. So we've also got Dan Ginchard and Lukas Schoenmakers running out the top 10. Gianni Andresani and Victor Obajanek on row number 6. Jules Castro and Leighton Fourie, row 7. And we've got Bart de Wit and Maurice Schuring on row 8. Then we've got Bertocco, Giorgio Bertocco and Alexander Abskava, row 9. Completing the top 10 rows, it is Lars Zane and Max Stemmerdink. Completing the 31 strong, obviously with Lucas Scherbinskas, a notable absentee, will be Miro Halika, Dante Rapagne, Aliska Babakova, Maurice Schmeis, Christian Decline, Giuseppe Forenzi, Jeffrey Fixer, Ethan Kurtzy, Flint Schuring, Shota Fuji, and Alexander Renner. So 31 drivers, 15 and a half rows of competitors. As I said earlier, the winner of each category, and now the thing is that Van Vugt did have an opportunity to try and qualify for Le Mans earlier on this year, but he has got a ticket to the Grand Finals in Sarno this October. However, his focus is clearly now on a championship he would like to very much defend. One of 3 he will be doing this year, B&L Karting Series and the Chrono Karting Dutch Championship. But he's back for Euro Trophy once again, and convincingly won at the Euro Trophy Open at Genk just 5 weeks ago. This time it is not 7 minutes, it is 11 minutes plus an additional lap. So Van Vugt is trying to slow the field down, get Olli Pilka from Dan Holland racing alongside. So they're starting to do now, going through the right-hand slight kick, left-hand slight kink, going into the final turn at turn number 10. And as you can see, they have, it's like a traffic jam on the N25 here, but we have some carts stuck together going into, well, they're trying to sort that out pretty quickly, so there will be another formation lap, I feel. That's, I think in my eyes, that wasn't really a start because there were about 6 carts all stuck together. So, and that is the case. A full start has been called by race control. So they will now have to slow things down. Or haven't they? Now that's a very interesting thing here. Now I would have thought that would have constituted a full start because several drivers were compromised, and that would have been the likes of Rapagne as well. So the left-hand side of the grid were slightly kept together, so to speak. So, but I'll just keep an eye on how proceedings start. Now it looks like they are actually at full racing speed. So looks like Mike van Vugt is leading at the moment with Olli Pilka just behind. Yes, it is counting down, so we are actually under green flag conditions. Well, that's pretty quick. Zermatt, Edquist and Schminkowicz are all together. Schminkowicz goes up the inside of Zermatt, as does Vilgod Edquist, as Mike van Vugt has now lost out to Olli Pilka going through turn 2 on lap number 2 here. So just over 10 minutes to go, so Mike van Vugt. But it is not necessarily about getting the win. It is also sometimes getting about those points consistently throughout the race weekend to put your stamp on the top step. Further changes happening down the order, sort of towards the back part of the top 12. So looks like we've had some moves probably past Jules Castro, so it might have been the likes of David or Schuring that have got past. Meanwhile, the top 5 is starting to break away. Great battle between the likes of Machiels, Charlie Wirtz and Victor Obajanek. That is over position. So Machiels looks to be ahead. Wirtz looks to be around the outside, or has he gone up the inside? He's now, I think, down into what is effectively going to be 8th position. No, he's 7th at the minute, as Leighton Fourie has jumped up from around... So Fourie started on 14th, he's now up into 9th position. So the young South African comes from the same nation as Kelvin and Sheldon van der Linde. Jody Scheckter, also a former Formula 1 champion who has a lot of things going on in the business sense. So I'm hoping that someone gives Jody Scheckter a bit of wind of this and seeing another great, good young South African talent the opportunity to get some welcome coverage. Been having a chat with Leighton and his dad Gerald this weekend. Good guys. So yeah, really good to see that even some guys from South Africa want to come and compete over here in Europe. And obviously with Sheldon van der Linde taking his first pole position the other week at Zolder, that's a great showing for the 19-year-old. But meanwhile, at the front of the field, the lead between Pilker and Van Vugt is now just over 2 tenths. But Van Vugt might go a bit deeper into the braking zone into turn 2, which the Dutch driver does. Behind is Vilgot Edquist, Jerzy Spinkowitz. Now they've dropped Marcel Surmatch, and then it's a bit of a further drop down as Oberjanek gets past Wirtz going through into turn 5. Charlie admitted to me earlier on, well, he's just retaken the position, and behind Schoenmakers is going to be quite a few other drivers. Now I see Dan Ginchard a little bit further back. I think he's just outside of the top 10, so there's quite a great four-way scrap going through into turn 6 and 7. And leading that train, I think it is Charlie Wirtz at the moment. So I think the young Austrian, who's also running in the FIA Academy Trophy this season, is in around about 6th position by my count. Well, 7th position, as Jeff Michiels is still in 6th. Lead is still around about 2 or so tenths. 7 minutes and 30 on the clock to go here in this first Junior Max final. So top 15 at the moment, it's Pilker leading from Van Vugt, Edquist, Spinkowitz, Surmatch, Michiels, Wirtz, Oberjanek, Schoenmakers, Fourie, Ginchard, Danny Van Dijk all the way down in 12th now. Gianni Andrisani, Jeffrey Fixer, and Schuring in the 2:14. That is Morris Schuring. So the other Schuring, Flint, is all the way down in 28th position, as Bart de Wit is all the way down in 31st and last, unfortunately. So the young Dutch driver not having a great run in this first final. Meanwhile, it's more changes of positions happening. So it looks like there has been a change for 4th position. So Spinkowitz has gone behind Surmatch. So 2 Polish drivers might be working together, but ahead of them they've got Vilgot Edquist, a very young Swedish Junior Max competitor. Van Vugt ahead of him, and then Olli Pilker, who is leading the way at the moment. Gap still around about. Well, the lap times are between the top 4. First, second and fourth are all running in the 51.5s at the moment. This is a blistering pace in this intense heat here in Adria, but the train has sort of slightly been broken by Pilker and Van Vugt in this initial stage here. So we are coming to around about 6 minutes and 10 seconds left to go here, plus an additional lap. More changes. Ethan Coetzee has made a place up, as has Morris Schuring. Max Stemmerdink up into 27th. Dante Rapagna up into 23rd now. So it's going to be a case of what's happening behind. The top 15 at the minute, it's Pilker, Van Vugt, Edquist, Surmatch, Spinkowitz, Michiels, Wirtz, Oberjanek, Schoenmakers, Fourie, Ginchard, Van Dijk, Andrisani, Fixer, and Morris Schuring. That is the top 15. But there has been some more changes as Leighton Fourie has now just dropped down all the way down to 13th position. Now, he did have a problem with an electrical issue with the engine in the first qualifying heat. That's why he came to an abrupt stop, as there's been a little, well, Dan Ginchard has just been passed by Danny Van Dijk going through turn 3. Was there the slightest amount of contact? Really couldn't see from my vantage point, if I'm completely honest with you. However, it is still going to keep on going. So we are past the halfway time distance here, so just over 5 minutes to go. I'm just wondering, has Dan Ginchard dropped towards the back end of the top 15? As Danny Van Dijk has got a couple of people in between. So Pilker's lead over Van Vugt is now just over 3 tenths, with Pilker now just having set the fastest lap on lap number 7. We're now on lap 8. The heat is going to start really testing the drivers here, because it might be 22 to 24 degrees at the moment, but in those race suits they are definitely having to hydrate as much as possible to keep their core temperature cool and also keep them calm under pressure. But in many respects, when a driver gets the visor down, as there's been a little bit of a touch there, I'm just thinking, was there a little bit of a front bumper nudge there a little bit further down the order, probably towards the back part of the top 15. I'm not too sure. It might have been Gianni Andrisani's front bumper that might have been compromised there. However, Pilker now is extending the lead to nearly 0.5 of a second ahead of Mike Van Vugt. But it is about the culmination of points over the race weekend. So it is 25 points for a win, 20 for second, then it goes all the way down to 1 point for 15th position. Other changes that have happened. Leighton Fourie now back up into the top 10 in the 2:08, behind Schoenmakers in the 2:04. other positional changes. Christian Decline started 25th, now up into 17th position. Dante Rapagne started 22nd, now back up into 20th position. Shota Fuji is behind Max Stemmerdink, so Fuji now in 26th. Ethan Kurtzi now hits 27th position as there is more warring going on through turn 6 and 7. Oh, we've got 2 off. One is a GKS Lemons Power driver. So could that have been maybe, not too sure whether it might have been Castro or Zanen, or there's some other drivers who are representing GKS, but someone nearly went through the gravel with the back wheels, managed to keep it going. So good call there, and that is Christian Decline, the 299 that was compromised there. As there's another overtake, a few more overtakes happening. It's difficult to try and keep up around this track here, but I tell you what, it's great to see, because from my vantage point, I can see pretty much everything apart from the entrance into the final corner. So some good battles with the likes of Lars Zanen, also with GKS, and is battling away with the likes of Stemmering, Schuring and Ferenzi. As that's getting very close. It's side by side. I think that is Lars Zanen going round the outside of Schuring, as it's nearly 2 by 2. Oh, more contact. We've got one spinning around about nearly 100 degrees the wrong way, and someone else has just gesticulated, and the other driver's gone like saying, "What are you doing?" So now, that is one of the Schurings. That is one of the Schurings that has just gone off, and that could be, that's Morris, I think, that has just gone. Well, we've had Ferenzi drop down the order. We've had Kurtzi drop down the order. So that is actually Ferenzi that has just come off worse there, unfortunately. So the driver goes into the safety of the where the marshals are standing. Not very happy is the driver in the 253. Meanwhile, at the front of the field, Pilka is still controlling proceedings quite well here. As I said earlier on this weekend, that Pilka, having made the switch to Dan Holland Racing, has really come to be a Tour de Force and Junior Max. So obviously Mike van Vugt will have his work cut out this season, I very much fear. Edquist still in third. Sermach and Spinkovitz round out the top 5. So there are 3 Polish drivers in the top 5. A great battle starting to show up between Jeff Machiels and Charlie Wirtz, who is actually with the Belgian coming through the left-hander at turn 5. So Wirtz very much, as I say, he's got 2 older brothers, or 2 brothers, and a former racing driver father who is still in an advisory capacity with Toyota Gazoo Racing, who are at Le Mans testing for the super season finale for the World Endurance Championship on June 15th and 16th. So Charlie Wirtz still keeping on the back bumper of Jeff Machiels. This is a great battle for 6th position. So 43 seconds to go, and they've just crossed the start-finish line. So Pilka now has a lead of just over 6/10 from Mike van Vugt. So it's still Pilka, van Vugt, Edquist, Sermach, Spinkovitz, Machiels. And we've got Wirtz, Van Dijk, Schoenmakers. Ginchard now hits the top 10. Leighton Fury in 11th, but is about 1.3 seconds off of the Brit at the minute. Gianni Anadesani now in 12th place, and has got behind Obajanek, Fixie and Castro. And Jules Castro from Belgium with the sporting the GKS Lemons Power colours. Obviously Robin Freins and Jensen Button are some former alumni that have raced with the team over the past few years. And obviously Robin Freins was back at Karting Genk in a shifter kart for the very first time in a long time, and he said it was good to get back to the roots. Karting is very much a good training potential for any experienced driver in any form of motorsport. It's a great battle. Final lap board it is. So Van Vugt still is in 2nd position, but Edquist is trying to catch up to him. Pilka leads by just over 6/10. They're going to come through turn 4 for the final time, which they do now. And just behind, Charlie Wirtz is going to try, maybe might think about consummating some well-earned points in 7th position. But Pilka comes round the penultimate corner, round turn 9, now into the left-hand kink that puts them onto the final corner. And winning the first final of the day, it is going to be from Poland. Ollie Pilka from Dan Holland Racing wins final number 1 in Junior Max. 0.0548 seconds ahead of Mike van Vugt, with Vilgård Edquist from Sweden rounding out the top 3. And what a great showing for Poland in terms of national pride. Another 2 drivers in the top 5 in the form of Marcel Sermach and Jerzy Spinkovitz rounding out the top 5 positions. Charlie Wirtz did pip Jeff Machiels for 6th position at the flag by just over a tenth. Danny Van Dijk was in 8th position, ahead of Dan Ginchard, with Lucas Schoenmakers, Leighton Fourie, Gianni Andrisani, Victor Obajanek, Jules Castro and Jeffrey Fixer rounding out the top 15. But, well, hang on a second, it looks like Pilker might have got a penalty there. So Pilker has got a penalty post-race, so that might have been going past track limits, but Mike Van Vugt, as a result of that, is actually declared the provisional winner, pending any technical or judiciary matters post-race. So Mike Van Vugt wins, ahead of Strawberry Racing's Vilgot Edquist, Marcel Sermach, and Josie Spinkovic and Ollie Pilker round out the top 5, all representing Poland in the 3rd to 5th positions. Charlie Wirtz from Austria takes 6th. Jeff Machiels in 7th. Danny Van Dijk, Dan Ginchard and Leighton Fourie round out the top 10 with the last of the points finishers. Schoenmakers, Andrisani, Obajanek, Castro and Fixer with Dante Rapagne, Babikova, Schmeiss, Abskava, Bertocco, Stemmerdink, Fuji, Schuring, that's Morris Schuring, Alexander Renner, Miro Halika, Bartavit, Flint Schuring, Christian Decline, Ethan Kutzi and Lars Zeinen in 30th position, with Forenzi not finishing the race and Lukas Scherbinskas not starting due to the earlier incident yesterday morning.